My name is Michael Mandela, and this is Nikki DiMartino, and we will be talking about St. Louis Martin and the importance of family. Why do we root for characters like Walter White of Breaking Bad or Marty Byrde in Ozark? Even though they're caught up in criminal business activities, we find ourselves hoping they'll succeed. Why? Because beneath their questionable actions is a powerful necessity to provide and protect their families. As viewers, we empathize with their struggle to balance work, success, and family responsibilities, even when they go about it the wrong way. This tension may resonate with many of us as children. However, in the not-so-distant future, we will likely be on the parent side of things. How do we pursue professional success without sacrificing the relationships that matter most to us? Our work will demand so much of us, long hours, deadlines, and pressures to perform, yet our families need our love, attention, and nurturing. Finding this balance is a challenge that extends beyond fictional TV shows. It's a reality for many of us today. Consider the life of St. Louis Martin, a man who offers a very different example than these characters. Louis Martin was a successful watchmaker in the 19th century who could have easily been consumed by his career. Yet, his greatest legacy wasn't his business. It was his unwavering commitment to his family. After the death of his wife, St. Zeal Martin, Louis devoted himself fully to raising his 5 daughters, nurturing them with love and care. Despite the demands of his work, Louis ensured that his family remained his highest priority. He led by example, modeling values of integrity, courage, and devotion. His legacy reminds us that success isn't just measured by professional achievements or income, but by how faithfully we nurture the relationships entrusted to us. St. Louis Martin's life illustrates that balancing work and family is possible when we view both as essential aspects of a meaningful life. He didn't see work and family as competing priorities, but as complementary parts of his vocation. His example invites us to ask, how can we pursue success while staying true to the values that matter most? When it comes to balancing work and family, many of us have or will face difficult decisions that test our values. The tension between career obligations and family commitments can create challenges that don't always have clear answers. To understand why this balance matters, we can look to St. Thomas Aquinas and his teaching on natural law and family, and then see how these principles were lived out in the life of St. Louis Martin. Aquinas believed that God has inscribed fundamental goods into the fabric of creation that promote human flourishing. One of these natural goods is family. Aquinas recognized that family is not just a social institution, but a natural good that enhances society by cultivating love and moral formation. It's within the family that we learn the values that shape our character and guide our decisions in life. Aquinas suggests that the moral teaching and instruction provided by parents is more effective than the discipline of laws. He writes that, quote, "Children love their parents and are readily obedient out of natural affection. While laws and societal rules may shape behavior through fear of punishment, parental authority shapes character through love." In this sense, Aquinas believed that while government and law serve as guides for society, they do not replace the role of family. Instead, the family acts as the primary teacher of morality. Raising children is therefore not just a private responsibility, it's a civic duty. Parents don't just nurture children physically, they shape the next generation, preparing them to be virtuous members of society. This makes the work of balancing family life and professional obligations not just a personal matter, but a matter of moral and civic importance. These principles were not just theoretical for St. Louis Martin, they were lived realities. Louis Martin was a successful watchmaker who ran a small business that demanded precision, time, and dedication. He had every opportunity to immerse himself totally in his profession, yet he never allowed his work to overshadow his responsibility to his family. St. Louis Martin made a conscious decision to prioritize his family, even when it required personal sacrifice. He turned down opportunities for greater riches to ensure that he could be fully present for his wife and their children. After her death, as a single father, Louis devoted himself even more to his daughters, providing them with not only material care, but also the kind of moral instruction. Louis Martin understood that his highest calling was not just to be a successful businessman, but to be a father who raised his children in virtue and love. St. Louis Martin's decision to somewhat step away from his business to care for his family highlights an important truth. Success is measured not just by professional achievements, but by the impact we make on our children and loved ones. He modeled integrity, faith, and love, and nurtured an environment where his daughters, including St. Therese of Lisieux, were formed into people of high moral character. His life reflects Aquinas' insight that the family, not just state or society, is the first and most essential school of morality. We can now look at how these principles apply in the professional world, in particular the field of accounting, which is filled with ethical dilemmas that arise when balancing the demands of work with the responsibilities of family life.
So we've seen that both work and family are essential goods, and we've explored how Christian ethics call us to order them rightly. But what does this actually look like in real life, especially in a demanding profession like accounting? Let's walk through some real challenges and practical solutions. One would be long hours and family sacrifices. As accountants, particularly during tax season or busy season, we face the reality of long hours, tight deadlines, and intense client demands. This raises an important question. How do we meet professional obligations without neglecting our families? It's easy to justify excessive work by saying, I'm doing this for my family. And yes, work provides for them. And if we're always absent, either physically or emotionally, are we really providing what they need most? The challenge is real. The pressure to meet deadlines can easily take priority over family time, contradicting the Christian value that family is a sacred responsibility. This is where prudence comes in, which is the virtue of discerning when to work hard and when to set boundaries. The second one is integrity versus career advancement. Another dilemma accountants face is the ethical pressures that come with the job. Whether it's financial reporting, tax compliance, or client advising, we might find ourselves in situations we're asked to bend the rules, maybe underreport income, manipulate the numbers, or overlook questionable transactions. This puts us at a crossroads. Do we compromise integrity to satisfy a client or secure a promotion? Or do we uphold our ethical principles knowing that it comes at a professional cost? As Christians, we're called to be people of integrity. Proverbs 11 verse 3 says, "The integrity of the upright guides them, but the crookedness of the treacherous destroys them." If we're dishonest at work, even in small ways, it doesn't just affect our careers, it affects our character, our families, and our witness to the world. So how do we navigate these challenges? Here are 4 practical strategies to help maintain balance and uphold ethical standards in accounting while prioritizing our family. Number 1 is create a time budget with our boundaries. Just as we manage financial budgets, we should manage our time in the same way. Setting clear boundaries between work and family helps prevent burnout and neglect. The second one is communicate openly with clients and family. Setting clear expectations with clients about our availability during family time establishes respect for those boundaries. Open conversations with your spouse and children about busy season, like tax time, help them understand temporary sacrifices while ensuring they still feel valued and connected. The third one is set ethical guardrails to avoid moral compromise. This would be like deciding in advance what ethical lines you will not cross. Having these guardrails in place helps you make the right decision under pressure. The fourth one is embrace Sabbath and rest. Finally, honoring rest is essential. Exodus 20 verse 8 reminds us, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Regular rest not only restores us spiritually and emotionally, but also reinforces the truth that our worth isn't defined by our productivity. Taking time to pause and be present with God and our loved ones helps us refocus on what truly matters in life. Work-life balance isn't a one-time decision. It requires ongoing reflection and adjustment. Setting aside time, maybe quarterly, to ask, am I prioritizing my family and faith as much as my career? Can help ensure we don't drift from what's most important in life. When we align our work and family life with God's priorities, we don't just become better accountants, we become better spouses, parents, and students of the gifts He has given us. The goal isn't success in our careers, but faithfulness in all areas of life. Balancing work and family isn't just about better time management, it's about recognizing both as sacred callings. Work allows us to provide and serve, while family nurtures love, faith, and virtue. The challenge isn't choosing one or the other, but ordering them right. St. Louis Martin ordered what was important in his life by choosing his family and faith over his work. May we be more like Louis as we live our lives and find our family's importance. God has entrusted to us. May we seek his wisdom to live out that daily. That's the end of our presentation. Thank you for listening.